Oh no, did I make a mistake? Do you see where I went wrong, guys? Do you see? Hello and welcome to another Munching Mondays episode. This is my brand new mukbang/eating show series. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you get regular updates on new videos. Now, let's move on to the munching. Hello everybody, it's Rose and welcome back to another mukbang/eating show. Today we have a Korean feast once again and we are doing Korean wraps. I'm super excited because this is stuff I grew up eating. It's healthy, it's delicious, it's fresh, it's just so good. And it's also really easy when it comes to making it into a meal. This is a lazy, easy, affordable meal idea. And of course, we're keeping it 100% vegan today. Korean people, we like to wrap our rice into things. Okay, we like wraps. We like especially things like lettuce wraps. We like to put our rice into things, okay? It's a great way to eat more vegetables, because it's not boring, it's still delicious. And yeah, it just like makes your meals a little bit more interesting. So here we go. Before we get started, if you ain't subscribed to Cheap Lazy Vegan, why have you not subscribed yet, guys? Click that subscribe button. Also, my website is now kind of revamped. It looks really pretty. There's some new products on there if you guys want to check that out. Link is down below to the website. Check out the ebook, check out the different products. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the different kinds of wraps we're going to be making, okay? So we got lettuce, classic. We have some blanched collard greens. They've just been lightly boiled and then thrown into cold water, so they're kind of like softened. We also have some perilla leaves because this I still have in my fridge. I have these pickled perilla leaves from, I don't know, way back when, and I still have some in my fridge and I just need to eat it. And it actually still tastes really good. So perilla leaves are very popular in Korea. I don't think they're really popular anywhere else. But you can find this in Korean supermarkets and you can find them, I think, pickled or not pickled. They have a very strong taste. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, you can find them in Korean supermarkets, and then there's like recipes on how to like season them and stuff. So yeah, this is a perilla leaf, guys. And I also have some roasted seaweed. This is something Korean people do. Okay, if you're Korean, you know what I'm talking about with this roasted seaweed stuff. So this is roasted seaweed, and in Korea they call it kim. Let's have our first bite. So we take one of these. Oh, I have some rice here. We take one of these. This is like literally the laziest like way Korean people eat. We just take one of these, wrap some rice, and I'm telling you guys, it's so good. With a little bit of kimchi. I have some homemade Korean kimchi. Korean kimchi. All kimchi is Korean. Homemade kimchi by my mama. It's so good. Now the makings of a Korean wrap. Usually, for like the lettuce and leaf wraps, we have the dip. The Korean dip. This is called samjang. So sam in Korean is wrap. Jang, I think maybe that's sauce. I don't know. So I have a recipe video on how to make the sauce. I also have here on the side just a little concoction of sesame oil and salt, which I'm going to dip my tofu in. Yes, I have some pan-fried tofu that I'm going to use as my protein. And I also have some tempeh. This is not something Korean people eat, but I'm obsessed with tempeh at the moment. So that is my tempeh. So that is what's going to go into my wraps. I'll show you how I assemble it. So let's start with the collard green wrap. So I'm kind of obsessed with this whole collard green thing because I think it tastes great. So I put a little bit of rice here. I think it tastes great. It's healthy and just obsessed. I'm gonna take, this is a big piece of tofu. You know what, let's just take a big piece. So I'm gonna dip a little bit into the sesame oil salt mixture. Make it just into a little open wide and enjoy. I can't think of a better meal. This, remember this, guys? This is green pepper, Korean. We eat it like this. We dip it in that same sauce. Oh, this is like one of my favorite things. So good. Next, let's do a big lettuce wrap. Today I want to talk about like the bad stuff that happened to me when I traveled to the Serengeti. But I'm gonna eat some first, okay? So here, let's do some tempeh. This is just store-bought tempeh that I have pan fried. I'm gonna add in this sauce. And so good. Tempeh is so good. I'm like obsessed. Brown rice. So you could literally just simplify it and just have lettuce, dip, some sort of protein like tofu, and a bowl of rice. And there is a really good, healthy meal, guys. It doesn't have to be complicated. And that requires very, very little effort. Just have to cook some rice, wash some lettuce, pan fry some tofu, and there you have it. All right, so I think the last mukbang I did, or at least the last couple mukbangs I did, I talked about my trip to the Serengeti, my trip to Tanzania, which is in Africa. Many of you guys wanted to hear the bad stuff, you know, some of the bad things that happened on my trip. So you could wrap it like that. And again, when I say bad things, I don't mean like horrible tragedies. I just mean, you know, little annoying things that happen, you know, in life. Things that at that time you're like, oh my God, this is the end of my world. Or it feels really stressful, really terrible. But then in a few months or in a few weeks, it's no longer a problem, or it's something that has passed. So that's something that I try to remember when I have like a bad situation happen to me. I'm just like, okay, in a few weeks time, I won't even care about this. This will just be a funny story. That's kind of how I try to navigate. You know what I mean? Okay. Overall, the trip was amazing. Like I mentioned, I do have a vlog channel where I'm posting my travel videos and things like that. So I'm a bit behind on life, but I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it, okay? Tempeh. So yeah, overall the trip was so good and I had such a good time, and it was one of the best things I've done in terms of traveling. It's such a unique experience. I actually went to, if you didn't watch my last video, basically I went to a trip to the Serengeti. That was the entire point of my trip, because I've always wanted to go to the Serengeti, which is the second largest safari in Africa. So I did a trip to Kenya and Tanzania, but I spent most of my time in Tanzania, and I ended the trip in an island called Zanzibar in Tanzania. Guys, you can always make layers too. Let's do layers. 2 pieces of lettuce, small thing of collard green. I'm gonna add tofu, dip that in salt and sesame oil mixture. Put a little bit of this red sauce. Put a little rice, and even a little piece of kimchi. There we go. Oh my gosh, so good. Oh man, this is so good. Why don't I eat this every day? Okay. So, again, if you saw my last video where I talk about this, I said I was camping in the Serengeti. It was amazing. It was wonderful. I saw so many animals and all that stuff. So, when we got to Zanzibar, which is the island, it was absolutely gorgeous. So beautiful. And we spent like a couple days there. And then I had a couple days by myself. This is when kind of like a few bad things happened, okay? most of which was my fault. Oh, let's have a perilla leaf. Oh my god, I'm gonna have more rice. This is just ridiculous. It's so good. So in Zanzibar, we did a tour around the main city center, which was called Stone Town. So that was like the historical part. And then we spent one day in Stone Town, and then we went to north of Zanzibar in an area called Nungwi, which is right by the beach. So amazingly beautiful, guys. It was honestly one of the most beautiful beach areas I've ever been to. It was so gorgeous. So we went there and we were in Nungwi, I think, for 2 nights. So when we got to Nungwi, we had a few options, and one of the options that we could take was a sunset cruise. By the way, if I have like food stuck in my teeth, just bear with me, okay? So the sunset cruise was basically this thing that we left the beach around 4 p.m. and we would just be on this boat with this live band that was playing like local music with drums and everything. They would be like drumming and singing. There's beer on the boat. We got to dance. We were standing on the top deck thing and we're just drinking beer, having a great time in the sun, watching the sunset as we were cruising. It was amazing, guys. You know what they say about that African sunset. I'm telling you, those sunsets that I saw in Africa, some of the best I've seen, okay? We did the sunset cruise, right? Now, up until this point, we had not drank that much alcohol, okay, on the trip, because the trip wasn't focused on partying. It was mainly focused on going to the Serengeti and camping in the wild, getting up super early. We had to get up at like 5 in the morning for many of the days that we were there. So even when we drank, it would only be like, I don't know, maybe 2 beers max. So we were used to not drinking at this point, and we had been on the tour for about over a week at that point. So on the sunset cruise, we were drinking, and I think I had about 3 beers, and I was feeling it, my friends. I was super drunk. I mean, was it a bit dangerous? Probably. We didn't have life jackets. There was beer. Mind you, unlimited beer, pretty much. We were dancing on top of the boat, jumping into the water. Anyway, I bet you're thinking that something bad happened on the boat, but nothing actually bad happened on the boat. It was a great time. The sunset was beautiful. It was amazing. Stars were aligned. Everything was great. But I was a bit drunk. So then we had dinner, and then I actually ended up going home somewhat early, or going to the hotel somewhat early, because I was pretty drunk. So I just wanted to sleep. I wasn't crazy drunk, but I was feeling it. And the next day, man, I was for sure feeling it the next day. Okay, so I was feeling sick the next day. I was just feeling like hungover. It wasn't extreme hungover, like I wasn't puking or anything, but it was definitely not like I was not in my tip-top shape. You know what I'm saying? And we had a full day ahead of us, okay? So the day after was our snorkeling tour. So we had our sunset tour, and then the next day we had a snorkeling tour. And this was our last full day of the tour, okay? Of the entire tour. So this was going to be our last day together as a group, and so we were going on this snorkeling tour. Now, unfortunately, I was hungover, so I was not in my tip-top shape. I had a bit of a stomach ache. I'm not really sure what it was. It could have been multiple things, but basically I was just not in the best shape. I think I got a lot of sun the day before. I was drinking. I was probably, dehydrated. I was tired. I had been traveling a lot. I've been camping. My body was just kind of worn out, right? It wasn't really just being hungover. It was just that my body was just so worn out. I still, of course, went on this tour. So I was on this boat, and I swear to God, you guys, it was so beautiful, and I felt like I was wasting my life because it was so gorgeous, but I wasn't enjoying it to the best of my ability because I was so hungover or like sick or something. Okay? Whew, what am I doing? Sorry, I was trying to cut the tofu and I realized it wasn't that big, and anyways. So we're gonna get some of the sauce. This is so good, guys. I should eat this every day and it'd be so healthy. Oh my gosh. So the snorkeling tour looked kind of like this. We were on another boat, very similar to the one we were at the day before. It may have been the same boat, not sure. We're on this boat and we're going to some other island, but we weren't allowed to dock on the island because it was a private island. So we were like near the island with a bunch of other boats, and that's where we were snorkeling. So we would snorkel and it was beautiful. Now, I had my GoPro with me. I had my waterproof GoPro thing that I use whenever I go under the water, whenever I go snorkeling. I have a GoPro. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this. This water is beautiful. So I took it into the water, and at first it was working totally fine. And then for some reason, it just stopped working. It was saying something like no SD card or something like that, even though the SD card was still fully in there. So I was like, what? And I was not happy because I had just started snorkeling. So I wanted to get snorkeling footage. This story makes me sound very stupid, by the way, okay? So just bear with me. Now keep in mind, I swear I was a little bit, dehydrated. I was not in the right state of mind. I was kind of like, in a daze, okay? That's my excuse. So, so my GoPro stopped working, and then I realized I have a water resistant phone. I have the Samsung S9, okay, which is water resistant, which I have used in a hot tub before. Basically, got it soaking wet, and it worked perfectly fine. So I thought, hey, why don't I use that to film footage? Do you see where I went wrong, guys? Do you see? Now that I think about it, I want to cry a little bit. I gotten over it. Now this brings back these memories. Okay. So, I took my phone from the boat. I put my GoPro back in my bag, and I took my phone and I brought it with me, and then I dunk it underwater, and literally, I swear to God, within 2 seconds, it was having issues. I think I don't know what happened, but it was just definitely not reacting the way that I expected, and I was like, oh no, did I make a mistake? Answer is yes, I made a mistake. Guys, when someone says the phone is water resistant, never assume it is waterproof. Now, I don't even understand the whole point of this whole water resistance crap, okay? Because the only time that you're ever really going to need water resistance is when you dunk your phone in the toilet or in some kind of situation, and anyway. Oh, God. But also in hindsight, I realized it's because, or it may have been because, it was salt water as well. Anyways, I told you this story would not make me sound very smart, okay? I guess I was desperate for pictures. Anyway, that backfired on me. So yeah, my phone kind of went cray-cray, so I put my phone back into the boat. Seaweed rice, kimchi. So then, guys, I thought, you know what? I probably just need to dry it out and it'll be fine. So I went on snorkeling, it was fine. So after snorkeling, we actually went to this island. Actually, we went back on the main island, but in a conservation area. So it was basically like pretty much a private area that had nothing on it because it was conserved. And I don't even know how to speak English, okay. So we were on the boat. Ooh, I have to sneeze. Whew. So then we were on the boat and then we went to this conservation area. And then while we're on the boat, there was like a top deck. So it was like the main part of the boat and then there was like a top deck where people were laying down to suntan and all that stuff. I went to the top deck and I may or may not have fallen asleep. Anyways, it was very relaxing, okay? So we were in the sun, in this hot sun, and I may have fallen asleep. And then we get to this conservation area. My phone's still not working. I'm half freaking out, but the other half of me is like, this is beautiful. It was gorgeous. This conservation area was, I think, definitely one of the best beaches I've been to. It was absolutely beautiful. It was amazing. So I was trying to like soak it in, although a big part of me was really sad that I couldn't like take a million pictures. I did get a few people to take pictures of me and stuff like that, but still, you know, it's not the same when you can't take your own photos. I was just trying to enjoy the moment at that moment, you know? So I was just in the water. I'm one of those people, if I see a beautiful beach, I just have to be in the water, okay? So I was kind of in the water, just enjoying myself. I was feeling a bit better from the morning. But I was still tired, you know? Then after we had lunch in the conservation area, we ended up going back to our main area and the tour ended around probably about 3 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock. At this point, I'm like, I need to take a nap because we were gonna go for dinner, obviously in the evening for our final dinner. So I thought before the dinner, I really need a nap because I'm so tired. So I went back to the hotel and I tried to take a nap. And this is when everything went wrong. So I started feeling so sick, guys. I was like, you know when you're like, when you have a fever, but your entire body is chilled to the bone and you cannot get warm no matter how many layers you put on, but you're sweating? It was like that. So I felt super sick and I started freaking out. Because, you know, have you ever heard of something called malaria? I started Googling my symptoms and all my symptoms were like identical to malaria symptoms, okay? So I'm just like freaking out. I was laying there for hours. I couldn't sleep at all because I was so sick. I was shivering. I felt just cold, nauseous, everything. Mind you, I like rarely get sick. And even when I get sick, it'll just be like a cold. Like a very minor cold. Ooh, this one's spicy. Ooh! Whew. Whew. So I'm laying there dying, thinking I'm dying of malaria. Because like at this point I forgot to take like a couple malaria pills. You're supposed to take a pill like every day. And I've forgotten the last few times. So that's why I was like freaking out about malaria. Whew. Guys, that pepper. You know what I realized? The story is not that interesting. I'm so sorry if I'm boring you. Oh my god, that pepper is so spicy. But here I am with more spice. It's basically, my GoPro just broke. Or I think my GoPro just broke. My phone just broke. I'm sat here feeling like I'm dying of malaria. I'm Googling my symptoms on my Amazon Kindle because my phone is not working. This is the last day of my tour and we're supposed to have a goodbye dinner. So we're all supposed to meet up at the lobby. So I somehow got myself dressed and I got to the lobby. And at this point, my roommate that I was staying with, she already knew I was sick because I was like literally dying. So she told everybody. So I got to the lobby and I was basically just like, guys, I can't go to dinner. I'm dying. Ooh, see, I want more pepper even though that other one almost killed me. Mm. So I couldn't go to the goodbye dinner because I was feeling so sick. I told the tour guide, I was like, I'm sick. You don't think it's like anything serious? He's like, you'll be fine. All you need is to drink lots of water and go to sleep. So I did just that. And thankfully, guys, thankfully, I'm still here. I did not have malaria. I just had sunstroke, it turns out. I think, at least anyway. It must have been sunstroke because I can't think of anything else. I was burnt everywhere, I found out, because basically everyone on the tour pretty much got burnt because the sun was so strong, and many of us are really stupid and just didn't reapply sunscreen enough, or we just spent too much time in the sun, and because I was on that conservation area and I just thought it was so beautiful, I just like couldn't help myself but to like stay in the sun. But that made me really, really sick, guys. Sun damage. It was really bad. I was super duper burnt. Yeah, it hurt for like a few days, like my skin, but all the flu symptoms and my fever and stuff, that went away, I think, like the next day. So I was like relieved because, you know, if it was malaria, then those symptoms probably wouldn't go away. You know what I'm saying? So, whew, I realized that whole story was pointless because that wasn't even the main one I was going to tell you guys. Oh my God, and I'm done my food. So you may have to wait till next time for the next bad thing that happened in Africa. But I realize these are not really that interesting, so maybe you don't want to hear about it. But like, you know, I imagine you guys are kind of like my friends. We're just sat here enjoying food together. So, you know, not all my stories are super interesting or entertaining. Look at all the greens I ate. So good. Guys, the next story, if you guys are interested, will be in my next mukbang. Basically what happened after that. So guys, sun protection, very important. Put on your sunscreen, guys. Put on the hats. Don't stay in the sun too long because you could literally get sick and think you have pneumonia. Not pneumonia, malaria. And also, water resistant phones are not really that water resistant, especially in salt water. So do not put your phone in salt water. So basically all the images and videos I had of my entire trip to Africa were gone from my phone. Now, luckily for me, guys, the one very lucky thing for me was that most of my good images and videos and everything were on my cameras. I had 2 cameras with me. I had my vlogging camera and my DSLR. Most of the good pictures and videos were on those 2 cameras. So thankfully I didn't lose too much, although I was still pretty upset at losing most of my stuff on my phone. I tried to revive it, guys. I did all I could to try and revive my phone. It wasn't the phone itself that I really cared about because I had warranty on it. So I just had to pay $200 to replace it, but it was the photos that I lost and I hadn't properly backed it up. Anyways, many lessons learned, guys. Many lessons learned. So yeah, water resistant phones. Still be careful with them and make sure you put on lots of sunscreen and be careful in the African sun. Okay, it's pretty strong. Anyways, next part will be in the next video, I think. I've been doing lots of mukbangs lately. I hope you guys like it. Okay. Yeah, that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I did some Korean food. I know you guys love the Korean stuff. I ate mostly everything. This is all very healthy, guys. As you can see, I ate so many greens. This still is like weight loss food. It's still really, really good for you. And I don't know why I don't eat this way more often because it's so good. It's definitely one of my favorite ways to eat. It makes me feel good inside. It makes me feel healthy. It makes me feel light but also satisfied and full. The food is delicious. I love the sauce. Kimchi is life. Everything is wonderful. So I should eat like this more often is what I'm saying. Anyways, yeah, I really hope you guys try this out. If you want the sauce recipe, I will link my Korean sauces video that I have on my channel already. If you want the kimchi recipe, this is vegan kimchi that my mom made, and I have a recipe video on this, a step-by-step, very thorough video on how to make a vegan kimchi at home. And yeah, I think that's it for the recipes. If you guys like mukbang videos, I'll leave a playlist link as well down below so you can check out my other mukbang videos. And yeah, if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in my next video.